I'm so sorry, ma'am. I know you need this medicine, but it looks like it's not covered by your insurance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to deny that one.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your insurance company's pharmacy benefit manager. I get paid based on the price of a medicine, and I don't make as much money off this one.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 1041. The Workplace, the Ideal Praise to Criticism Ratio, by Jack Zenger and Joseph Folkman with Gottman.com. And I'm Dan. I am your host and narrator here. This is the show that's all about improving your business life, and I'm so happy to be here sharing another article with you today. And we're going to hear from a couple of writers at Gottman.com, and I'm going to tell you all about that site after the post. So let's get to it and optimize your life. The Workplace, the Ideal Praise to Criticism Ratio, by Jack Zenger and Joseph Folkman with Gottman.com. Which is more effective in improving team performance? Using positive feedback to let people know when they're doing well, or offering constructive comments to help them when they're off track? New research suggests that this is a trick question. The answer, as one might intuitively expect, is that both are important. But the real question is, in what proportion? The research, conducted by academic Emily Heafy and consultant Marcial Losada, examined the effectiveness of 60 strategic business unit leadership teams at a large information processing company. Effectiveness was measured according to financial performance, customer satisfaction ratings, and 360-degree feedback ratings of the team members. The factor that made the greatest difference between the most and least successful teams, Heafy and Losada found, was the ratio of positive comments, for instance, "I agree with that," or "That's a terrific idea," to negative comments, such as, "I don't agree with you. We shouldn't even consider doing that," that the participants made to one another. Negative comments, we should point out, could go as far as sarcastic or disparaging remarks. The average ratio for the highest performing teams was 5.6. That is nearly 6 positive comments for every negative one. The medium performance teams averaged 1.9, almost twice as many positive comments than negative ones. But the average for the low performing teams, at 0.36 to 1, was almost 3 negative comments for every positive one. So, while a little negative feedback apparently goes a long way, it is an essential part of the mix. Why is that? First, because of its ability to grab someone's attention. Think of it as a whack on the side of the head. Second, certainly, negative feedback guards against complacency and groupthink. And third, our own research shows it helps leaders overcome serious weaknesses. The key word here is serious. Our firm provides 360-degree feedback to leaders. We have observed among the 50,000 or so leaders we have in our database that those who've received the most negative comments were the ones who, in absolute terms, improved the most. Specifically, our aggregate data show that 3/4 of those receiving the lowest leadership effectiveness scores who made an effort to improve rose on average 33 percentile points in their rankings after a year. That is, they were able to move from the 23rd percentile, the middle of the worst, to the 56th percentile, or square in the middle of the pack. A few colleagues have raised their eyebrows when we've noted this because we're strongly in the camp that proposes that leaders work on their strengths. How do we reconcile these seemingly contrary perspectives? Simple. The people who get the most negative feedback have the most room to grow. It's far harder for someone at the 90th percentile already to improve so much. But clearly those benefits come with serious costs, or the amount of negative feedback that leads to high performance would be higher. Negative feedback is important when we're heading over a cliff, to warn us that we'd really better stop doing something horrible, or start doing something we're not doing right away. But even the most well-intentioned criticism can rupture relationships and undermine self-confidence and initiative. It can change behavior, certainly, but it doesn't cause people to put forth their best efforts. Only positive feedback can motivate people to continue doing what they're doing well and do it with more vigor, determination, and creativity. Perhaps that's why we have found with the vast majority of the leaders in our database who have no outstanding weaknesses that positive feedback is what motivates them to continue improvement. In fact, for those in our database who started above average already, but are still below the 80th percentile, positive feedback works like negative feedback did for the bottom group. Focusing on their strengths enabled 62% of this group to improve a full 24 percentage points, to move from the 55th to the 79th percentile. The absolute gains are not as great as they are for the most at-risk leaders, since they started so much further ahead, but the benefits to the organization of making average leaders into good ones is far greater, because it puts them on the road to becoming the exceptional leaders that every organization desperately needs. As an interesting aside, we find it noteworthy that Heafley and Losada's research is echoed in an uncanny way by John Gottman's analysis of wedded couples' likelihood of getting divorced or remaining married. Once again, the single biggest determinant is the ratio of positive to negative comments the partners make to one another, and the optimal ratio is amazingly similar: 5 positive comments for every negative one. For those who ended up divorced, the ratio was 0.77 to 1. Or something like 3 positive comments for every 4 negative ones. Clearly, in work and life, both negative and positive feedback have their place and their time. If some inappropriate behavior needs to be stopped, or if someone is failing to do something they should be doing, that's a good time for negative feedback. And certainly, contrarian positions are useful in leadership team discussions, especially when it seems like only one side of the argument has been heard. But the key even here is to keep the opposing viewpoint rational, objective, and calm, and above all, not to engage in any personal attack under the disingenuous guise of being quote-unquote constructive. We submit that all leaders should be aware of the ratio of positive and negative comments made by their colleagues in leadership team meetings and endeavor to move the proportion closer to the ideal of 5.6 to 1 by their own example. You just listened to the post titled "The Workplace, the Ideal Praise to Criticism Ratio" by Jack Zenger and Joseph Folkman with Gottman.com.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I know you need this medicine, but it looks like it's not covered by your insurance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to deny that one.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your insurance company's pharmacy benefit manager. I get paid based on the price of a medicine, and I don't make as much money off this one.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
You're always looking for ways to improve the speed and organization of your work. But if you're still jumping between 50 tabs just to do your job, then maybe you haven't found the right tool yet. That's where Notion comes in. And today, I'm excited to share that they just launched Notion Projects, which includes new, powerful ways to manage projects and leverage the power of their built-in AI features too. Notion Projects combines project management with your docs, knowledge base, and AI, so you can stop jumping between tools, stop paying too much for them, and use automation to help you succeed. In just one workspace, you can do everything you need to get your projects over the finish line, from brainstorming to drafting launch plans to organizing sprints and keeping everyone on deadline. Do your most efficient work with Notion Projects. You can try it for free today at notion.com/OSD. That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/OSD. And when you use our link, you're supporting our show. So go right now to notion.com/OSD. And thanks to Jack and Joseph and everyone at the Gottman Institute for sharing this post today. The Gottman Institute understands that the human family is in crisis and that all individuals are capable of and deserve compassion. It's their mission to reach out to families in order to help create and maintain greater love and health in relationships. They're committed to an ongoing program of research that increases the understanding of relationships and adds to the development of interventions that have been carefully evaluated. It is their goal to make their services accessible to the broadest reach of people across race, religion, class, culture, orientation, and ethnicity. Come by Gottman.com for much more. That's Gottman. And again, a big thank you to the entire team for letting us share their work today. And that's going to do it for this episode. I thank you so much for being here and listening all the way through, and hope you have a great rest of your day. So with that, I'll see you back here tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.